Yahoo! Welcome, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love. My name is Jamal Pope, aka Jay Phoenix, and this is going to be your astrology forecast for the weekend of September 23rd and 24th of 2023. Welcome to the equinox in the northern hemisphere. It is the autumnal equinox. In the southern hemisphere, it is the vernal equinox. So, welcome to the shifting of the seasons, and where the day and the night are at the same time. But in the northern hemisphere, the night is about to become longer, right? In the southern hemisphere, the day is about to become longer. So, let's hop into the astrological forecast for this weekend. We have a lot of things to discuss. A lot of different things are going to be happening this weekend after a couple of days of not a whole lot of going on. But we get to the weekend and things really start to kick off pretty quickly, right? So let's hop into it. As you can see, the sun has ingressed into Libra. It is at 0 degrees of Libra. Yep, we are officially in Libra season. Things are about to become very cardinal indeed. So, another cool thing, Mercury is here at 12 degrees today, and it's starting to pick up speed. It's officially moving fast. It's moving over a minute a day. So, it is picking up speed, and things are going to start to click more. Even though the sun has shifted into Libra, Mercury is going to be kind of coming up behind the sun and kind of cleaning up things and trying to reorganize things as well as the sun makes its way towards Mars and the South Node. Now, we do have, of course, the moon, which is going to be in Capricorn for the better part of the weekend. It moves into Aquarius later on Sunday evening, so we're pretty much going to have a weekend with this moon in Capricorn. And this moon is going to be making a lot of aspects over the weekend and definitely causing quite a bit of energetic shifts. So let's take a look at the first main thing that we have here. Well, we have our first of several major aspects. We have a grand Earth trine with the moon in Capricorn, Mercury in Virgo, and Jupiter here in Taurus. Now, yes, it's not exact. Two of them are at 12 degrees, and Jupiter's here at 14 degrees. But, Jupiter's a pretty large planet and has a pretty large influence. So I figured I'd just go ahead and mention this. This is definitely an injection of, I guess you could say an injection of reality, if you will. But there's all this earth energy is coming in, wanting us to, of course, ground ourselves in these newfound understandings. But the thing that, you gotta remember, moon doesn't like to be in Capricorn, I'd rather be in Cancer, right? So, because whenever the moon is in Capricorn, it's sort of like, ugh, what is this like? This is like, there's like that picture of the baby that was born and it was like already over this shit. Let's see. Let me see if I can find it, because that's pretty much what this is. And then I can it's like a meme. I bet I could find it. I wonder if I could find it. No, it's not that one. It's like a particular one where it's like the baby's already over this. Yeah. It says the birth of a Capricorn rising, but hold on. Let me just share this, because this is what the moon in Capricorn feels like whenever the moon comes here. So I'm gonna stop sharing that screen. Got a close up of my face, and then I'm going to share. Yeah, this is what the Capricorn vibes. This is what we feel like when the moon's in Capricorn. We're a baby, but we're serious, and we're already over this shit. Anyways, back to chart. So the moon is going to be in Capricorn. So it's like, yeah, there's an element here where, emotionally, we're kind of having to adult a little bit more, having to grow up a little bit more this weekend. So emotionally, it's like, this is definitely some Red Foreman, I'm gonna put my foot in your ass kind of energy, just because not that we can't feel our emotions, not that we can't be open and sensitive, but this is definitely going to be a time where especially with the trine to Mercury, which is still in shadow in Virgo, right? But it's moving faster now. So things are starting to click, mentally and stuff like that, trying to put things in order. But we just had a sun that had a major mutable T square, right, with the moon in Sag and Neptune here. So Mercury has to cover all this space, right? So that's the thing about this. And then, of course, you have Jupiter, which is retrograde, mind you, and it's in Taurus, so it's feeling a bit deflated right now. Um, this is a time where we kind of have to just like pick ourselves up, if you will, and really see the value in our day-to-day life, right? Mercury is definitely trying to figure things out, get things in order. Jupiter retrograde in Taurus. This is about going within and finding the things to be grateful for within and finding our value within and realizing that's not necessarily going to come too much from the external world because everyone's looking for that right now, right? Everyone is looking for some sort of validation. And I feel like this grand Earth trine is an opportunity for validation, if you will, but it's not necessarily going to come easy. And especially when the largest of these energies, if you will, like Jupiter, as far as like size, is retrograde. So we have to go a little bit deeper, right? And Mercury is in shadow. So it's really the moon, and the moon being in Capricorn here, it's, say like, and you have a Saturn that's now dispositing this moon, which is in Pisces, which, so it's, as you can see, I'm a little at a loss of words for this. Not that I can't describe this energy. It's just that this is a grand Earth trine that wants to ground us into some sort of reality, wants us to, not some sort of reality, the reality, but also make us realize that we can overcome things and we can really see our value, but it requires a deeper vision, if you will. Jupiter is all about the vision. It's all about the big picture, but it's retrograde. Now it's going within, and the moon is in Capricorn, and Capricorn is very much so big picture oriented, right? And you have Mercury, which is in the sign of details at Virgo, but it's still in shadow, but at least it's moving fast. So it's like details and things are starting to become clearer, right? And this gives us opportunity to like, okay, I have this going for me. I have this blessing. I have this blessing. And the moon in Capricorn is like, it's like I said, it's that baby that I showed you. It's like there's an element where we feel like we're almost already over this shit. But at least we have this great Earth trying to inject some positivity, albeit positivity that probably doesn't. This is honestly like a medicine that doesn't really taste good, but it's going to make you feel phenomenal. It's that kind of a deal, right? It's not something that's going to taste good. This is not a Flintstone gummy, what I'm saying, kind of trine. This is like a medicine that, ironically, you probably have to drink, and it does not taste good. And then you get like those weird burps afterwards. But boy, oh boy, are you going to feel a lot better afterwards. So not all medicine is designed to taste good. That's kind of what this grand Earth trine is giving us. And that's, 2:34 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday, right? So we have that going on. Now, as you continue to move the day forward, once you get towards, the end of the day, of course, at least here on the East Coast, we are going to see this energy. We're going to see a marvelous cardinal T square between the moon, Chiron, and Mars. Mars and Chiron, which will finally come into their opposition on Sunday, mind you, but they finally come into their opposition this weekend. We have the moon, which is now going to square both of them. This is why the trine was necessary. The grand Earth trine was necessary. This is why you took the medicine, because 8 hours later, we are going to see a T square here, where Mars is in Libra, where it doesn't want to be, and it is actually dispositing the Chiron that it's in opposition to, and Eris and the North Node, right? So this T square here, once again, this is another one of those like kind of like grow up kind of moments. It squares Mars when it's at 17 degrees. 1 plus 7 is 8. So that is the number of Capricorn. So there's definitely a challenge that comes up here, or a decision that we maybe feel like we have to make. Then it squares Chiron at 18 degrees. Well, I mean, it's pretty much 18 degrees across the board. It's just that Mars right here, 1 plus 7 is 8. It's like this can be very indecisive kind of energy, especially being that it's in Libra, having to make a decision but weighing out the options. And then the 1 plus 8, 9, which is Aries energy. So this is a very Capricornian, Aries, Martian kind of vibe with this T square. It could, since it's at the end of the day here, at least on the East Coast and the West Coast, this is like what? This is like 8, 10. This is like 8:34 for you guys on the West Coast. So if you're in Europe, this is like the middle of the night for you or going into the next morning. So this T square, it's definitely going to bring up a challenge where it's like, yo, okay. Are you wearing your wounds on your sleeve? Okay. Are you wearing your wounds on your sleeve? And if you are wearing your wounds on your sleeve, are you using it to empower yourself, empower the people, or are you using it to gain some type of clout and to gain some type of pity points, if you will? Especially with the moon in Capricorn, a moon in Capricorn during this, it doesn't make it easier because trying to get pity points this weekend is probably not going to work. People are probably going to look at you and be like, oh, okay, yeah, cool. You and everyone else feel the same way. Like this is literally a moment like, man, ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Right? Chiron is wanting us to open up some awesome gifts when it comes to who we are and expressing ourselves, our personality, our character, but like I said, Aries, this is still the sign of war, it's the god of war. So people can take their wounding right now and there's a propensity to want to go to war with certain individuals based off of what happened to you in the past. So let's just say that someone wronged you in the past. Let's just take a very arbitrary example, right? Say you're a Pisces, right? And in the past you dated a fucking like a Leo or something like that, or a Scorpio, or whatever, right? Say it's your sign and you dated, let's just say Scorpio, right? Since everyone wants to shit on Scorpio, that's it, because I don't know why that is, but let's just go ahead and just pick on Scorpio, right? Let's just say you're a sign and you dated a Scorpio, and then Scorpio did you wrong. This is the kind of energy where it will make you want to go to war with Scorpio, which is stupid, by the way. You shouldn't go to war with Scorpio. You'll lose. But joking aside, this is the kind of energy where it's like based off of something that happened to me, based off of what one person did to me, I'm going to now go to war with everybody in that particular community. That is stupid. You don't want to do that. Why? Because everyone is still very unique. We're all a part of different cultures and subcultures and communities, right? All right, I'll just use myself for example. I guess you could say I'm part of the spiritual community, if you will, right? But I'm also part of communities that other people within the spiritual community aren't a part of. For example, I love football. I love American football. There's a lot of people in the spiritual community that could give a shit about American football. So that's the thing about this that we have to realize. We may take our rage out on a particular group of people, but I guarantee you there are people within that community that vibe with something that you also vibe with. And that's where the challenge is here, where Mars is trying to find that commonality and not necessarily go to war immediately. But if we are too focused on our wounding, allowing the wound to stay open and fester, and then there are maggots in the wound and shit like that, and then you try to wave this in front of everyone's face, especially with the moon in Capricorn, we're going to be like, oh, yo, what are you doing? So look at my wounding. Look at this. Look at this. Can you believe that so-and-so did this to me? Oh, my gosh. Look at this. And we're going to be like, yo, put that away. Why are you trying to deny who I am? Huh? Are you trying to say that I'm not valid? And that we're not saying that. We're not saying that you aren't valid in the way that you feel. We're not saying that you are not valid in your experience. What we are saying is that clearly that wound's been open for a very long time and you have done little to nothing to heal it. And it is not the job of us to heal your wound. You can get advice, you can get guidance. Ultimately, the healing comes down to your actions and your willingness to actually heal. That's the T square of the moon, Mars, and Chiron. The moon hits 22 degrees coming into Sunday, right? And as you can see, Mars has officially hit that 18th degree, so it's actually beginning the opposition. Moon, I wasn't going to initially mention this, but I kind of have to mention it now because we had a grand Earth trine between the moon, Mercury, and Jupiter. Now we get a grand Earth trine between Moon, Uranus, and Black Moon Lilith at 22 degrees. 2-2, master builder energy, and this is an energy with 4 degrees that Uranus likes to be at. So we get 2 grand Earth trines. So we get 2 doses of medicine this weekend, essentially, right? The first dose of medicine, I would say, will probably be a little bit more on the personal side, especially considering the fact that it dealt with Mercury, which is a personal planet, and Jupiter. Now, the second dose of medicine has Uranus involved and Black Moon Lilith involved. So you gotta remember, Black Moon Lilith doesn't actually exist. It's a calculation, and now she's in retrograde. The last one dealt with just one retrograde energy. Now this one is dealing with 2 retrograde energies, and the moon is getting a lot closer to Pluto at the same time. This is going to be an interesting one. This could be potentially medicine that's pushed on the people, but this is about, I would say, not being afraid, because remember how I mentioned earlier with the T square, right? Not being afraid to connect with people that you think you don't share values with, right? Being afraid, and especially with the whole being in Virgo, it's about being of service. It's about not being afraid to be in service to people, even people that you feel like might not share your value and stuff like that. That's the thing about it. We are all so unique. We are all united by our uniqueness. That's kind of the interesting thing about Aquarius energy and Uranian energy, is that we are all super unique. We are all miracles. The fact that we even got here, the fact that we made it here, it's a miracle. And yes, the whole world is this giant melting pot of incredible cultures, of incredible people, different ideas, ideologies. And, let's just be real. As things percolate in history, some ideas rise and then they fall. They may be good for a time, then they may be bad. You know what I'm saying? This grand earth trine here is, we cannot be afraid to continue to connect with humanity. We cannot be afraid to continue to connect with each other, just because values may be different or values may shift, because that can happen. Alliances can shift, alliances can break, and new alliances can be formed, but we can't be afraid to connect with people. There is, and I feel like this Great Earth Trine will be the perfect opportunity for those in power or whatever that are trying to sway people's thoughts and mindsets. This could be a perfect opportunity for them to try and sway people even more into this area of isolation, you know, pods, eating bugs, believing in all of the freaking dominant narratives of the Matrix, and moving away more and more and more from people. This Grand Earth Trine wants to connect you with people and to help you to build those bridges with people, even people that you think are so vastly different from you that you can't get along with them. But said Black Moon Lilith is retrograde. Remember, these are the apparitions and our fears and the scary things and even those deeper desires that we're kind of curious about, but we're also sort of like, I don't know if I'm really willing to go there, right? It's the dark goddess kind of energy, right? So she's in retrograde. So this is like when you meet the dark goddess, And then like this is like offset, you know what I'm saying? This is like you're offset and you're talking to the dark goddess, and it turns out she may dress in like really dark colors, and she may have like this persona on camera and on set and when she's performing and stuff like that. But then offset, shit, her favorite color might be pink. You know what I'm saying, right? She might drive like a pink car. It may be like she may listen to Taylor Swift, right? She like this is like way other direction, right? She could be the most bubbly person offset. That's like her retrograde, right? She finally doesn't have to be this dark goddess. She can kind of lighten up a little bit. So this is a time where it's wanting us to kind of lighten up a little bit, right? Appreciate the uniqueness of everybody, right? Appreciate that we have the amount of choices that we can choose from, and just learning from the experience. This is why I made the meditation when I made it today. I'm gonna wait for it to come across the bottom. But it was about learning from everybody, every person, every situation, you know, everything, learning from people, you know, even learning from the people that you disdained, once you dislike, the people that you love and you appreciate, the people that are in between, which the vast majority of people are in between, the simple passerbys in your day-to-day reality, right? We can learn from everybody, right? We can learn what to do, what not to do. We can learn what maybe could work for us, maybe it doesn't work for them, and vice versa. We can learn what it means to overcome, what it means to succeed and be successful. We can learn what it means to what happens when you do this particular thing. Okay, well, that probably will happen if I do that particular thing that that person did, right? What happens when for example, is like, okay, I see an individual that goes to the gym 3 to 4 times a week. They did that for a year and they dropped 50 pounds, right? You can look at that and it's like, you know what? It may not happen exactly that way, but more than likely, if I follow their example, I will experience a similar result. Or let's take it to the other extreme. Let's say it's like, okay, maybe you watch somebody fucking go wind gliding or whatever like that, right? And you see a bunch of people go wind gliding, and everyone's fine, everyone's cool, you know. And yeah, you've seen the horror stories of someone crashing into the side of a mountain, right? But you go wind gliding with your friend. Like the first time you don't actually go wind gliding, and there's multiple people up there wind gliding, and everyone's fine, everyone's cool, right? And then are you going to allow the fear of what could potentially happen? Yeah, you could potentially crash into the side of a mountain and die. But are you going to allow the fear of that to take away from you wanting to experience that thing? Because deep down, you probably want to really experience it, but you're maybe afraid of like the statistics, of course, with the Virgo energy, right? It's like, well, this happened and this happened and this happened and this happened. Oh, remember, it's the Lilith that's in that sign of Virgo, which is all about those statistics, right? It's retrograde. So it's like it's probably not as bad as you think. Or yeah, maybe I shouldn't, drink like a liter of, I don't know how much. Maybe I shouldn't just drink a bottle of vodka every single night, because this other person that did that lost his wife, lost his kids, lost his whole family, lost his friends, lost his job. Like, you know what I mean? So you can learn from everybody. Everybody's a teacher, whether they realize it or not. So don't allow this grand earth trine to dampen your ability to connect with other people, even if it doesn't seem like your values may align. You never really know until you really open up and talk to that individual, right? And when you can kind of, you know, drop the external, like that's why we had the T square going before this, so you can like kind of drop a lot of the pretenses and take the mask off, if you will, so you can get that raw you, if you will. So now continue to move this forward, and we're going to see, of course, the moon is going to conjunct Pluto here at 27 degrees. Now, this Pluto at 27 degrees, as you can see, that pretty much as this happens, Mars is actually in direct opposition to Chiron here at 18 degrees, while the moon is on top of Pluto. Boom! That's all I can say. Boom! Like, this is like whenever the moon comes over Pluto, especially in Capricorn, we can definitely really feel into the changes and the morphing of society, right? I feel like this moon over Capricorn, I feel like we can almost feel like the embers, if you will. Like the phoenix rising from the ashes, but the phoenix hasn't quite risen yet. This is when the pile of ash is starting to it's kind of like there's like some peaks of light. It's starting to there's like some embers there. It's like percolating. It's almost like a gestation period, if you will. That's what it kind of feels like, right? It feels like the phoenix is about to be born from the ashes, but there's like this period where it's percolating. I say that mainly because we have a harmonic of 9 energy. These guys, they net to a 9, and Mars and Chiron net to a 9, and these are happening at the exact same time. So this is definitely by design. This is 100% by design. This is not a drill, right? There is in many ways a rebirthing that can be happening right here, and you can feel it. You can definitely feel it come, midday on Sunday. Now, that moon is going to move into Aquarius, right? And Mars is still going to be in opposition to Chiron. So the moon moves into Aquarius, and then it's going to hit 1 degree, which means that it's going to actually trine the sun. Now, if I were to encapsulate this weekend, what it means is, and this is going to sound corny as hell. It's going to sound corny as hell. Believe in the power of friendship. This is like some straight up like anime type shit, like some, shonen type anime shit. Believe in the power of friendship, right? Now, in order for you to believe in the power of friendship, you have to primarily be a friend of yourself. You have to be a friend of yourself. Now, what kind of friend are you going to be to yourself? Don't be the friend where you don't necessarily tell your friend what's up and be real with your friend because you want to keep peace. Don't be the friend that allows your friend to just do a bunch of stupid shit just because it gives you a thrill. Be the kind of friend where you definitely keep yourself humble, but you would do anything for yourself, right? Like if you trip and fall and your friend laughs at you, but then they help you up, that's the kind of friend that you kind of want to be to yourself, right? Finding some sort of balance in between that. And when you can keep yourself humble, but also be your biggest. You about to blend? Oh, it's going to get loud. Okay. 1 second, y'all. My wife is about to blend some her fruit smoothie. All right, babies. Have a good day. I will. All right, y'all. I'm back. I appreciate your patience and stuff. But yeah, like I said, that moon's going to move into Aquarius, and it's definitely going to bring a lighter energy. This happens towards the end of the day on Sunday, at least here on the East Coast. And like I said, that moon's going to trine over to the sun at 1 degree. Believe in the power of friendship. Like I said, like I was saying earlier, you want to be the kind of friend where it's like, if something happens to you gotta learn to find the comedy in it, but you also gotta learn to be like your biggest supporter and pick yourself back up, and then kind of be that friend to other people too. It's like, it's like that anime fairy tale, right? It's like, because I think that's like kind of like it's the main anime that came to mind when I was thinking about this. Let's see. It's the main one I was thinking. It was the main one that came to mind, and I don't know why exactly, but it's just. Oh wait, wrong thing. Let me actually share screen and then. Like, now it's interesting too because within the anime community, there are a lot of people that don't like this anime. I do like it. I love the art style. It's one of my favorite art styles of anime. I will say that. Now I will say this: whenever I watch the anime, I peak around episode like 100 or so, because then it kind of feels like it drops off for me. But I don't know. I'm thinking about actually going back and rewatching it and catching up and like seeing, why do I continue to drop off when I drop off? But this is anime is literally the whole theme of this is literally the power of friendship and how the power of friendship can actually give you power boosts. But because you're afraid to connect with other people and more importantly yourself and be that friend of yourself, you're not going to experience these power boosts. But that's really what this whole weekend is. It's like we want to have this fairy tale, if you will. And these people, they have like these guilds, and when they're in between missions, they're at the guild, they're drinking, they're socializing, and they may fight, they may argue, but at the end of the day, they're a family. At the end of the day, they're a family and they love each other. And that's the energy that you kind of want to have. It's like, look, at the end of the day, and I'm gonna just go into the cards after this. At the end of the day, you know, you may fight with yourself, you may argue, but you still want to be that loving friend of yourself. That loving friend of yourself. And, learning to find the comedy in things. This is a weekend, especially now that the sun has moved here into Libra and Mars and South Node are here and stuff. Like, this is before going through these eclipses. Like, I felt like any weird relationship stuff over the last week, especially romantically, anything that came up was probably petty, and it was probably emanating from something that was very small. This is a time where we can definitely take these small things and blow them up because we're looking for something, right? We're looking for some edge. We're especially these past few days. I'm telling you, things were kind of quiet in the astrology. So when things get quiet in the astrology, especially after like major aspect after major aspects, when things go quiet, we can get angsty because we're like, all right, we got to make something happen, right? It's almost like, especially people need like constant stimulation. They can't appreciate the simple, the slow, the quiet, the mundane, right? So it's like this is a time we still have all this energy in Taurus, right? It's like this is a time where we need to learn how to appreciate the slow, the quiet, the mundane, see the beauty in that, see the adventure in that, the power of friendship, and like I said, primarily being a friend to yourself, empowering yourself, picking yourself up when you fall down. Maybe you laugh at yourself. Maybe it was legitimately funny. I bet you there are times I'm sure there are at least a handful of times of certain situations that you can think back to where in the moment you were enraged, you were upset, you were super saddened by it, you were depressed, it caused a lot of anguish, but then you look back on it and it's hilarious. It's absolutely fucking hilarious. So that means you learn something from it. If you're still in a place where it's causing a lot of pain, and I understand that there's different severity of situations, right? You could have gotten a divorce like 2 years ago and it still really much so hurts. I mean, that makes sense, right? But there's gotta be ways for us to be able to look at certain situations, maybe not necessarily in their entirety, but at least small details within the relationship and be able to laugh at some of those different things. So like for that example with the divorce, say if you got divorced 2 years ago and the situation as a whole, yeah, it still hurts, but you could probably think back to at least a handful of good times with that individual, and you still shared good times with that individual. You know, I think sometimes we can allow the stamp of a person or the stamp of a situation or a thing to really dictate the whole of its contents. But you can't judge a book by its cover. And that's the other theme of this weekend. I was trying to think, I know there's something else. You can't judge a book by its cover, and the power of friendship. So that's what I got for you as far as the astrology go. Let's hop into the cards. I've already shuffled it, so I want to see what we got. We have the Four of Swords in reverse. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a restlessness to this weekend. Like, we want things to happen and stuff. That is followed by the Eight of Swords in reverse. Whew. The restlessness is getting out of our own way. We are restless. Our souls are restless. It's like, all right, can we let down the barriers so we can finally move forward and not feel super stuck? Like, at this point, like, you could just be putting yourself in this state. You can be putting yourself in this, like, oh, I can't move forward. I can't move forward. I can't move forward. It's like people are like, they're like hurrying up to not get forward. They're like so restless, like, oh my gosh, I gotta move, I gotta move, I gotta move. But it's almost like the Eight of Swords has become like comfort for them. The Eight of Swords has become like a comfort for you. And you're afraid to move into new territory because of the boogeymen that could be potentially in there. The monsters, the ghouls, the ghosts that could be potentially in there. What if it's beautiful? What if you find a tropical paradise? What if you find the love of your life? What if you find good music, great food? We got to peel back the layers of the perception that things are about to just go to absolute complete shit in our lives. Things are changing and morphing forever, that's for sure, especially our financial systems. But that doesn't mean that things are just going to go to absolute complete shit. And humans are very hardy. We have made it through a lot of upheaval, a lot of war, bloodshed, famine, sorrow. We've made it through a lot, and we continue to create beautiful things as a whole. And like most places you go to, people are happy. Or at least people are nice. People are polite. Yeah, they may be hiding stuff, but people are nice. You get those assholes every so often. And one day you may be the asshole. You may be the bitch, because you may not be in a mood. You may be in a mood. You may be not in the mood to deal with people, right? That can happen too. But don't be afraid to still connect to people, right? I also have the Two of Pentacles. Yeah, connecting values, matching values, seeing people's worth. I feel like, look people in the eyes this weekend. Don't do the whole like, I know sometimes your eyes may trail off or whatever like that, but look people in the eyes this weekend. The eyes tell a lot. Right? They say that they're the windows to the soul, right? So look at people's eyes this weekend, connect. Don't be afraid to move forward. Get out of your own way. Be primarily a best friend to yourself, right? A best friend to yourself. You know what a best friend would do? I'm going to just use this example of anxiety because that's what I deal with anxiety. Even though my anxiety hasn't been that bad lately. But like, if you had like really bad anxiety and you had a best friend, you called up your best friend, they will stay up on the phone with you, and more than likely, they'll probably acknowledge what you're saying and stuff like that, but they'll probably also just talk about random shit, random funny things. Or they'll come over there and eat ice cream with you or something. You know what I mean? So there's an element of this weekend. I know the moon's going to be in Capricorn too. So it's like there's definitely a sort of like element where it was like, okay, we gotta have to grow up a little bit. But there's still an element that's like, well, yeah, still take care of yourself. But don't allow yourself to just stay in those moods if you feel like your vibration is kind of going lower, if you feel like you're going towards the lower end of that spectrum, and you're feeling insecure, worried, apprehensive, Acknowledge those things, but don't stay there, because the decisions and the ideas that can come up from that place are not really going to lead you to those positive roads in your life, right? So primarily do your best to be a good friend to yourself and be a good friend to other people, right? The power of friendship is going to power you up this weekend, right? The power, like, seriously, like, anyways, let me get the other card for today. There we go. I got new moon in Cancer. You and your loved ones are safe. Also, there you go. You got the confirmation that you and your loved ones are safe. So now you can move forward. You don't have to be afraid of that Eight of Swords anymore. You can go out there, you can live life, you can have fun, you can experience, you can attract, you can connect, you can vibe higher because you are safe. You can move forward. That is going to do it for your astrology forecast for this weekend. I hope that you all enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys have a wonderful weekend. And if you enjoyed this, please like, share, and subscribe. Share it with your friends and your family if it really connected with you. And hopefully you can take something from this and it assists you on this weekend, at the very least, to just encourage you to become your greatest version. So I definitely appreciate you guys for watching. And if you'd like to have a personal reading with me, beloved, you can follow the link in the description below to my website, jphoenix.com. I am running a sale on all of my services right now. So if you enter promo code Equinox, you will get 30% off of your reading. And y'all take care. Stay blessed. Have a wonderful weekend. And I will see you guys on the next astrology forecast. Peace.